Good night and welcome to Mindful Live 431. I am your co-host, I guess, Nathan Springer. Thank you for being here. It is currently, what is today's date? The 12th, the day after 9/11's commemoration. The 12th of the 9th month in the year of our Lord 2024. 2024 AD. 2024 CE, according to how you see it. Good night, Mikael Modesto. Good night, Ronnie. I see you on the inside. I saw you too, Trini Hotep, jumping in there swiftly. Good night, people. Welcome. It is a Thursday in this beautiful land of Trinidad and Tobago, the Twin Island Republic, paradise on earth, where they say the divinity itself, himself, has taken a residence here. For God is a Trini. Atheists may have said that because I guess they also see Trinidad doesn't exist. So then if God is a Trini and we don't exist, what you saying about God? All right. Anyway, make sure once you're on the inside, you're hitting that like button. Double tap the screen over there on TikTok if you're wondering how to hit the like button there. That's how you do it. Hit the 2 times quickly, real quickly, and you can keep doing it over and over and over. Really get those likes pumping. Those are some rookie numbers we got there. We can get those likes much higher than that. And once you are viewing this on YouTube also, you can and should hit that like button. Allow the like button to feel your presence. That thumbs up icon there, it's not there just for style. You can give it a tap and allow the algorithm to know, hey, this is some good stuff, some stuff other people may like to hear. So hey, share it and send it out more. You can share the live also on TikTok or on YouTube whenever you are viewing this. Hit that share button and let's jump into it. Yeah, Hotep, what going on? Are you a Gemini? What is that, Gemini? What is that? What is that, carnival ban? What is that, Gemini? What do you have to say about what Marvin Gonzalez had to say about the Tiantec debt? Was that where... Good night, Kareem Del Pesh over there on YouTube. Was that where he was speaking about the citizens having to pay it? Citizens must help pay the 4 billion Tiantec gas bill. Well, you see, hey, Ronnie, Craig, the truth is, he is just being more honest than many politicians are. The truth is, anything the state does, the citizens are the ones who have to pay. The citizens are the ones who have to pay. That's just the reality. Are you a politician or something? Or something. Let's just browse that article. Marvin Gonzalez says citizens must help pay 4 billion Tiantec gas bill. The Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission owes the national gas company over $4 billion, and consumers will have to assist in repaying this as the government cannot at this time. You know, the funny thing about this entire whole charade, Tiantec is state-owned. Do you know who owns NGC majority? State-owned. So the state, which is funded by the citizens, owes the state, which is funded by the citizens, and the citizens must fund the clearance of that debt. Now, as I said, 5 limbs as I paying bills years now, I ain't got a single help with my bills. It don't work so, bro. It don't work so. As I said, the reality is all bills are paid by the citizens. The state, this is not Dr. Rowley's money. This isn't like we're in a monarchy here or in some kind of feudal economic relationship where the lords actually invest their own capital in this thing and this kind of is their money. No. All of it is our money anyway. All of it is. So either way, we're always going to have to be the ones to pay it back. If the government found the money somewhere else, it was always going to be our money either way. Why weren't they paying their bills though? I would presume because people weren't paying them. I want a sale on bills. Listen. This is my problem with the government involved in business kinda on a whole. And TNTech is a delicate one because I can assure you if TNTech goes private, I am pretty certain we would pay more. So the government being involved in business on a whole creates these kind of perverse incentives where they don't have to run the business successfully. So they often don't. There's no cost to the politicians directly for running the businesses into the ground. There's no cost for them making bad and risky decisions by and large. So even beyond the corruption and the actual wrongdoing, many politicians just, they don't care as much. And it's a reality. So you see things like this all the time, and at the end of the day, it's always the citizens who are going to have to pay it back. At least Mr. Gonzalez is being honest about it. But in either case, anyway, regardless of what they say, once the government is involved in paying it back, it is the citizens, really and truly. Every year, the money allocated to various ministries to manage state institutions doesn't do that. Well, yeah. There's a problem with management. And, all right, well, also management could be a difficult thing where you could plausibly run into overheads that you didn't calculate for. That's a possibility. But that calls on us trusting the government's word for it. Y'all, what going on with this Christmas list business? What's this Christmas list business? Is it that someone in authority up there was embarrassed by his whole thing and they're now gunning at him? Because on the face of it, this really doesn't make sense. This really doesn't make sense. They arrested him for money laundering, then arrested him again to deport him when they have his passport seized, and by legal compulsion, he isn't supposed to leave. Like, why? Not like yesterday. This happened a few days ago, 4 or 5 days. Last weekend, was it? I don't understand why that is. And police abuse of their authority regularly gets me a bit worried, because that goes down a scary road, a road that is actually worse than the number gangs. If you live in a society where the police are just recklessly doing the bidding, doing the personal selfish bidding of elites. That's a scary place to live. But Ronnie, then that would put him in trouble. If he doesn't come back and he disregards the court order, that would put him in trouble. And I'm not sure if he could even leave because they seized his passport. And then when they arrested him again, they arrested him on another charge but seized his electronics again. Something strange is going on to me. Something doesn't seem to be adding up. What's up?
Night.
Good night.
How much noise I hear? You hear my noise?
A bit.
You still hearing it?
Not anymore. You're sounding much clearer now.
I was asking what you were saying in the, oh, hi. Oh.
Yeah, she told you hi.
Anyway, I was saying, you know, you've got distracted. Children always distracted. Yeah. What was the reason he had to come back for our courts are virtual? I mean, we never went back physical.
Sorry? What's the reason he had to come back for our courts of virtual? Why would he come back and do the same thing that got him in trouble with? But the new arrests weren't based on anything he did again. It's not like he did something again and they rearrested him for something that he did again. And I am not 100% certain, but I believe, if I recall correctly, the reason he came back, according to him, was because the court required it. He had to come back for his court cases, according to what I recall. And even if the case was all he wanted to do was come back to TTV, why is that due to the police? Why is it required for the police to harass him for that? What's the reason? That's not supposed to be the kind of system we're living in.
Well, yes and no. It's not supposed to be, but it is. But even if I have a court order, I wasn't coming back. Who was going to tell? What was going to do?
That would be a very unwise move. Especially if he's interested in being a traveling journalist and you disobey. What?
Yes, court is virtual and most. I don't know any court that went back physical. I don't know any.
So how the police harassing him? Okay, what's the arrest for on money laundering?
I don't even know.
What's the arrest for to deport him while his documents are seized? That seems like harassment to me.
This damn cricket wants to jump in the whole night.
And as I said, it doesn't matter if he came back for nothing. That still shouldn't warrant that kind of behavior. That seems very, very much like harassment to me. It's either the police would have us believe that in his 1 week stay, he became a mover and shaker in the underworld in Trinidad. But Kevin J, Mister with the police icon, stop asking stupid questions repeatedly, please. Before you aggravate me on this night, you are going to get me angry. You just asked me and I just told you what behavior. I just iterated it. Oh, well, I just iterated it. They arrested him since on the charges of money laundering, then released him, seized his electronics, and then re-arrested him, attempting to deport him, and held him in custody until his lawyers had to go run down a judge to get the judge to tell him you have to let the man go. So what are the police doing? Like, why is this? And I don't believe that these arresting officers are doing this all on their own volition. You know, they just pick up a vibes and feel to go down for Chris. I don't actually believe that. I think someone in a higher level is obviously peeved by something he did. It doesn't make sense to me. Why are we doing this? But to address what you were saying, Ronnie, if he's interested in being a global journalist, going all about the world and dealing in criminal matters and speaking to different sides of the criminal underworld, he will be blocked from every country if it's found that he refuses to accede to a warrant, a court matter in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago isn't a failed third world state, a narco state somewhere in the world where everyone understands it's just crazy like that. That's why what they're doing now is making us look bad. It's ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. But generally speaking, Trinidad isn't seen like that. So if you're running away from a court case in Trinidad, most of the world, remember we are part of the Commonwealth too, and he's Canadian. Canada is also part of the Commonwealth. I wouldn't doubt that there are extradition treaties between us. It would be an extremely unwise move for him to go and hamstring his entire life over Trinidad police seeming like they have it out for him.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
Courts are still physically held, less serious matters are virtually held. Who giving them this directive? That's what I'm asking. Fireflame says basic one in English and maths together with art and craft P and technical theory.
If that's what the man wanted to do, that's what the man wanted to do. I wasn't coming back. Fight me.
Nah.
Trade Jack Warner for me.
Nah. I not coming back would be probably this most stupid part of the decision to make. That's a no-brainer for me. I'm not going to have to look over my shoulder all the time for all official channels to have me down as an international fugitive. Nah.
But why does his lawyers get him to do the virtual? Like, as I said, just be like, our client is out. Well, okay, I guess you probably just don't know. They'll be like, what do you can't relate to whatever.
But and the first thing that they would have charged him for, the courts did seize, as you said, the electronics and so forth. Therefore, he has to appear physical.
They did.
Yeah, so that would be the, was that?
But they gave it back to him.
Yeah, they gave it back to him, but he still is required to appear physical.
I don't doubt that he does have to appear physical. I don't think it's virtual and he made a oops and came physical. I don't think so. And
that's
you know,
why I asked you who would have given the directives to go on the money laundering and all these things.
yeah.
I think again, a lot of things are assumed, a lot of things are said, but something I come around it.
That's what I started off saying here, Kevin. I don't know. Maybe something is playing off under that. Something has to be playing off underneath. Because it doesn't make sense. Why would you be doing this? According to him, he went on a morning program, I believe, and he said the money laundering charge was based on a video where someone put a big gold chain on his neck and then he returned it. If that is the case, then that is like the police. By the way, Kevin, what do you think about that policewoman and the rag?
Brother, no comment. Leave me alone. Is it tonight? Leave me alone. I don't even go and deal with it. I don't even go and deal with it.
Police fail to pull their police officer.
But
So
if
to say that woman on her stupidness.
Ronnie, if you know me, and I think Springer would know me. If you know me, you would say that. I wouldn't do that here. I
But
told
it's
him
like-
already that officers just do stupidness. I told him already.
He had an on Logan, but they must charge him.
no, not hard.
He had freedom of the.
He still is with freedom.
He take them back after he said that he fired them because they was charging them.
Ronnie, I don't think it was freedom. He had another crew.
He had
Yeah, I
two.
heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
The crew that usually goes with the guys in East Port of Spain, he had them first.
I heard about that.
But,
So
freedom people that come in right
I don't know
now.
how true that is. I don't know how true that was.
So,
But I heard that.
no, but that was in the news. That was in the news. His first battle with the law was with those guys. You could go back at the you could go back on the stories and you'd see that he was speaking on his behalf. That the lawyer was speaking on his behalf and all of that and all of that and all of that. That was the start. So I think that first group was the group he made the allegations against, and now he's with freedom because the court case where they arrested him for deportation and the lawyer had to file something with the judge to get him out. That was freedom that did that. Freedom and the leader of freedom. Well, you call names now positive since you are a big man, but I am a young man, so I just not gonna call anybody name anyhow.
They say name is for tombstone.
Yeah.
Teenagers.
Name is for tombstone.
But
But something sounds fishy about what you was just explaining.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole story, but
And-
something sounds fishy about it.
but you see the rag thing, the rag thing says that it is possible for ego. Well, not it says. Let me just say it says because I don't know all the details. The rag thing seems to suggest that it's possible for ego to get in there and cause some problems.
So here's the thing, and I would say this, and you're right when ego comes into play. I often say that what most people don't really understand and recognize, police do not train people to be like this. This is a home problem, a societal problem, of how people think that when authority is not given to them, they act like ass. I'm sorry to use that word.
Yeah.
They do.
Here's the thing, Kevin. 100%. I don't think the donkeys in the police service, because yes, there would be some. I don't think they were created by the police when they went in the barracks. I do agree with that.
That is not how training goes. That is not how training is.
I agree. Here's what I think though. I think because of the opportunity that police as a job, as an occupation offers, they attract some donkeys. And
Yes, it would.
what may be more necessary is
That's
to
6 months training. It's more than 6 months.
kick out more donkeys when you notice them early. Because I think some of them would be noticed early. When I'm not talking about people with dishonesty or criminal. I'm talking your temperament here. Let's send you out in a short pants as a police trainee to do traffic duty. And we send an undercover officer to get on real hoggish and stupid with you. And let me see what you're going to do. And if you fail that, well then you're out.
Right. And I think, don't get me wrong, some of those things are very much, I would say, good ideas. Right? So in terms of the same rap thing, I think one of the major issues is interpretation of law, enforcement of law, and an officer understanding where he falls in the whole picture. Meaning, I cannot allow my ego and emotions to dictate how I execute and enforce. I cannot. That is one of the major problems we have in society. Most Trinidadians and Tobagonians do not like to hear, they act on their feelings. They do not act with sense and wisdom. So, I think, so the officer would have been making true claims about what law is. Customs then has a video that indicates how that whole camouflage thing is supposed to work, right? Here's the thing. When I am presented or something comes in front of me, I now have to decide how I'm going to deal with it based on what comes in. If you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's either, so for instance, if it is I pull you over, you don't have your permit on you. Most people, sometimes they're rushing on yours, they just forget their permit on two of us.
Yeah.
So I now have to decide how I'm going to deal with that issue. But the law is the law. Driving without it, you're not supposed to be on the road. You're supposed to have your driver's permit while or driving on the road.
But isn't there
24 hours.
an option to give them time to show it at the station?
No. Here's the thing. Over the years, they have done that as to.
I am quite certain I read that in black and white.
Well, if you read it in black and white, show me what it is.
No, it is not.
It's not black and white.
All right, I'll have to look back at
So
that.
it's just like, to give persons the, where's the word? I gave you 24 hours to produce, to tell me that you actually have it.
And here's my view on that.
So
Here's
it
my
became now,
But you will still get in charge.
right. So the thing is, there's still this, people talk about the idea of discretion. And I think that is where the problem comes. Discretion. You understand? I think that issue, that rag, could have gone a different way if egos weren't in play. To be very frankly honest.
but
If ego was
Kevin,
If ego was not in play.
Kevin, here's what aggravates me in that. You say the custom has a video, and I remember that video where they had the pink rags and all of that in it.
And they said that once it was a pattern,
So then, what kind of entrapment? That should be legally called entrapment. The Minister of National Security.
Thank you.
So someone is supposed to be able to sue him. And here's the insult. Here's the insult added to that injury. The reason he made that statement was in defense of the defense force allowing people in the army FET to be wearing any kind of camouflage.
No, that's who was performing, right?
Not only performers.
No, right. No, but there's the problem. No, remember, under the Defense Force Law Act. Sorry, I was reading it. They give what do you call it? I don't see leeway. You see, like if a person is performing on a stage, you have that privilege to do it, but you cannot. It's not something.
Where is that written in the law?
Let's see if I get that read it for you.
There is no law for that. That's
Just now. I'll get it and show you.
All right.
As you did it up to yesterday, just now, I'll get it.
That once you're performing, well then I am a TikToker. I am an online performer. Anytime you see me in camo, I'm performing for my online audience.
That's absolute madness.
And
That whole thing is madness.
the thing is, he said that right in the press conference for the Army FET, because the journalists were asking him about it right there. So they had to defend it. Oh, the thing is, pom-pom shorts in camouflage isn't going to be an innocent, so it's entrapment. And then that's the kind of wicked dishonesty you get from the politicians. where they would not attempt to defend the indefensible when they have to speak about it. So when we have to speak about it, then we would pretend that it doesn't exist. But we very well know that it does exist. I'll pretend when I have to actually defend the laws that I have in the books, I'll pretend no, that's not the law, and I still send out my minions to enact the law. And to me, in fairness of the police.
So let me read it for you. Right?
Go ahead, yeah.
I'm reading from the Defense Force Act 1962 as amended.
Mm-hmm.
A person other than the proof wherefore shall lie on him wears the uniform or any portion of the uniforms of a member of the Defense Force, or wears any costume or article of clothing or apparel so closely resembling the uniform or any portion thereof of a member of the Defense Force as may cause such a person to be mistaken for the member of the Defense Force is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $1,000 or 8 years imprisonment. Is what they're talking about the Defense Force Act, right? Further up, a person not serving, this is section 98, a person not serving in the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force shall not wear without the minister's permission, his words, without the minister's permission, the uniform of any member of that force or any dress having the appearance or bearing any of the regimental or other distinctive marks of any such uniform. This amendment shall not prevent any person from wearing any uniform or dress in the course of a stage play performed in a place duly licensed or authorized for public performance or stage plays or in the course of any bona fide military representation.
So if you have a license for an event.
So that's all right. So you gotta go on TikTok and say because it's not a license.
But wait, you said they need the permission of the minister.
No. The permission of the minister is beside that. All you need is a licensed place for performance.
This one that I'm speaking here.
Have the permission of the minister say,
No.
But also in this, Kevin, also in this though, this actually reiterates what the minister was saying as the correct wording of the law, and that a bandana will not fall under this. So wait. The Customs Act that governs this is wider in scope.
Well, this is why I said what you said is what I applaud you for, because it is an entrapment in that we are allowing people to bring it in, or some themselves know they're not supposed to bring it in, but they allow them to bring it in. Then you put people in a position where when they're wearing it, you say it's against the law. So I'm going to literally play for you what Customs says.
I remember that video.
Some item with camouflage pattern. If you enter Trinidad and Tobago with any item, for example, a suitcase, a hat, a pair of boots, even a baby's onesie, it can be taken away from you. Many people think having items with the camouflage pattern is okay if the color is different to that which the Defense Force wears. But that is not correct.
This is such ignorance, eh?
1984 states the importation of camouflage pattern materials is illegal unless the Minister of National Security certifies that importation is for the use of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. So whether it's red, blue, green or purple, the pattern, not the color, is what is illegal, and a customs officer is legally obligated to take it away from you. So don't get caught unawares. If you try to bring camouflage patterned items into Trinidad and Tobago, you could be charged a fine and have the items confiscated.
It's interesting.
This is what makes it so stupid.
It's interesting though. Wait, just now, they said it's illegal to bring it in. Does the customs law indicate that it's illegal to have it in possession?
Yes.
It includes that too?
Yeah.
So then we have these MPs there sitting in parliament collecting money, and their job is sorting out the laws, and we have 2 laws on the books governing the use of camouflage, and the 2 laws are different in scope, vastly different in scope. And here's the thing, this like, I would put that blame on the politicians. That's on the politicians and the parliamentarians. This is why I cannot be in some of those those servicemen and service people industries. Apologies, but how could I, as a big man, go on a recording and tell people, you all might think it's the color, but it's the pattern that is illegal, and we will seize it on a like, what you saying as a big man? Like, really, how do you go home to your children, and children, you know how I made money today? I took patterns from people. Nah, that's shameful, man. That's shameful. That's a shameful thing. And you see, all right, there's legal.
It's tough. It's tough. It's really tough.
That's why I throw so much blame on police officers too, because here's why. I'm going to tell you why. It's the same thing like with the customs officers, because if we have a system, we are already born and locked into the system. We didn't invent this, we came and met it here. If we are already in a system where these buffoons at the top are going to do things that obviously make no sense, are you just going to be a willing arm of the buffoons and torture those under you over that buffoonery? That does not make sense. You could never get me to seize a baby pink camouflage onesie. I will never do it. Throw me in jail for that. I go into jail for this. This don't make sense.
It doesn't make, listen to me. It doesn't make sense. I agree, Ethan. It doesn't make sense. I agree 100%. I think what I would say to people, yes, I have noticed. Yes, I have. I think what I say to people is that I think somebody said a petition or, to use, right? At the end of the day, it is hard to execute something, even though I know it's stupid, but it's law. I hope you understand me. My directive is to execute, is to enforce the law. That is my directive. As stupid as it is, because I see 2 clashes there, this is why discretion has to come in. And this is why I said, we do not train people to act the fool. We train you to use your common sense.
And
I must share with some people in our life. Do you know that there is still a law in our books that after 9, once you are outside, after 9, once you're outside and you have no, what do you call it? What's the word I want to use?
justified reason.
No reasonable cause to be outside and you just idle it, you can be charged for loitering. Now, 9 o'clock, at the point in time when they made it, they have street lights. We have street lights now in most of the places. These are laws that would have just to a different time. But I'll show you how it is sad. You bounce up an ego one who should have on the uniform. I don't call them police, I don't call them police. Sorry. You bounce up on the ego, wear the uniform, and he don't like something you say, it's easy to use that. Very easy. And that is what some people tend to encounter, and where the trust between the police and the community goes far and far apart.
And he
I bounced up a situation with the camo. There must be some sort of discretion in it.
yeah. And here's the thing, Kevin. For me,
This one. And then I say lyman. I don't say lyman.
so here's
I think it's bad. I think that's sad because if you don't have a reasonable reason
Supposed to be outside.
then you're doing the wrong thing more than
and here's how I see that, Ronnie. I don't have a problem with those laws if we had good police, because that could be a very effective law. So the police could come, talk to me, see, even if I just liming, that's my reasonable reason. He liming, we know he not in trouble. But they could come and see you, and they didn't catch you with the weed, they didn't catch you with the popo, but they know that you are causing trouble, and they could use that law to carry you in. Those things make sense. It gives the police more ammunition, more artillery to work with on the outside there. And this is why, again, I have to come down on some of the officers, because the idea is to give police, yes, all this power, but then the discretion allows you to not harass the law-abiding citizens and use your wide discretion on the troublemakers. So even the tint law, like to make this a roadblock, strip down your tint thing, makes no sense. To go out advertising to parents of children that if you have on the visors, on the braces, we will. That makes no sense. Okay, this is part of your artillery. You use it in your roadblock. You see somebody in the TIDA that looking fishy, and you use the fact that the tint is part of the law to go down on that. Instead of you see some mother have a shield blocking a child in a car seat, and they say, well, the law is the law in a mom's 1,500 ticket. What kind of asinine behavior is that?
Nathan, just asked me to explain the annoying language. I'm going to explain that after, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I have the law there too.
Yeah.
The other, well, you see with that too, again, that discretion thing, I see, and maybe I must have, because them have also, I don't know if I have it also either, but I think, I believe there is good that most of us could try to educate as best as we could. But in terms of the thing, I was working on the flip side. So he said we should be able now to see, observe who is who. And if somebody looking off, we should be able to. But I know this thing about people have an issue with profiling.
I don't have an issue with that at all.
But no, that's you. That's you, Nathan. Not people. Right?
Kevin, I will tell you.
Lawyers very slick.
Kevin, let me tell you one time,
Lawyers very slick.
True, the lawyer's slick.
Use that for profiling thing.
But
Have you no questioning?
that's why, Kevin, I want the police to have the broad range of powers so that the lawyers could be how slick they want. It's in the law. So, like when New York had their stop and search, and the people didn't like it because it was profiling and whatever, but so be it. If more black people doing that kind of crime, profile them. In my early 20s, if you saw some pictures of me, the hair was crazy, and I'm a tall Afro-Trinbagonian guy with rumpled hair. If I walk into a place and I see an officer do a double take on me, and they just, see what going, I am not offended. I understand why. If I was working taxi late at night and I put out my hand for me, I might be a little. If I see the curly mustache, I say, nah, I ain't feeling a gangster thing with a mustache like that. Yeah, I don't mind that. To be very honest with you, I do not mind it. Listen. It's such a foolish thing, a foolish game we like to play. Go look at all the CCTV of home invasions and murders and and tell me if there isn't a common look. I'm not talking race, but a common look.
So you see, again, Kate was provided free for people. Not but not everybody really understand and really could use wisdom and things to do it. They really don't. I mean, it's really hard sometimes when you see these things and it's like I wasted my time doing the right thing as a policeman. Like I wasted my time. No, I'm telling you, sometimes you feel like you're literally wasting your time because the more good you do is like somebody comes and just unravels everything.
That's why I see Props to you as a good police. If you're a good police, props. I don't think I cut out for this job, because you being the good one, you are obviously going to get more. Because if I bounce up into a police and regular citizens don't necessarily meet police every single day, but you meet a police once every 6 months, and the one police you met that one time was the real bad one. The next time you bounce into a police, you coming in with that kind of, like a continuation of the last conversation with the bad police you had. And this one could be trying to, do the right thing and speak with the correct customer service kind of rapport. And you vex already because you vex with the last police, and good police had to take the cuss and licks too.
Right. So even in like that, customer service is part of the training. There are other things that are part of it. That's why I said the training is not the issue. And I think what you said, I think more should be done rigorously in terms of testing people before I let them out. And I go as far to say, I would go as far as to say, take them in from 25, not 18. And I go as far as to say that.
I kind of agree with that.
Cypher, what do you call it? Sift. Persons who come in just for a paycheck as opposed to coming to do the job.
And
Because the truth is that some come in just for the money.
the truth is, the people, if somebody is going to be a criminal in their life, the chances are between 18 and 25 they will at least start. So you allow them that chance to see where this train going to go.
But don't take them in at 18.
That actually makes good sense.
Yeah, so because some coming in at 18, they have not experienced quote unquote life. They are still protected, quote unquote. They have not faced harshness, or some have, and even how, persons are spoken to. I grew up with my mom, and I mean, she's a loving person still. She has her ways, yes. But we grew up with parents will tell you the worst. So I think I grew up understanding how to be if the public coming at me using obscene. I'm not phased. But in have some people, they cannot handle that. But part of your training is to learn how to for your emotional intelligence to stay calm. Whenever you use the person enforcing the law, you have to be able to speak to that individual what they are doing wrong. So when this person asks about the annoying and obscene language, right? Under section 49, right? It says violent language and breach of the peace, right? It says any person making use of any insulting, annoying, or violent language with intent. And that is what most people miss out. The intent to, or which might tend to, provoke any other person to commit a breach of the peace, and any person who uses any obscene, indecent, or profane language to the annoyance of any resident or person in any street, or of any person in a place to which the public is admitted or has access, or who fights or otherwise disturbs the peace, is liable to a fine of $200 or imprisonment for 30 days. So I read it in that manner for people to understand there must be an intent. Right, positive, there must be it's like inciting the person. But again, when interpreting law for many officers, very difficult.
Here's the thing I'm thinking about, Kevin.
And that's the problem.
The intent piece.
You notice what I read it? You notice what I read it?
Yeah.
You gotta come real good to prove that my intent was to incite you to violence.
And
You gotta come real good.
and here's the thing. If it's annoying language, just now you're running, I see you waiting, so you'll sting after. if it's inciting language that will incite someone to breach the peace, then if the police are saying the annoying languages towards them, are the police then confessing that this language was capable of making them break the law?
That is what I'm saying. Use your emotional intelligence so weak that you get annoyed that you want to break the law.
This is a stupid law.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Because if the police is the only person that could.
So you see, it comes back to intent. Sorry, it comes back to intent.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right. So if the police is the only people that could charge this law, right? Then the law was written for them. Because I could see somebody using annoying language to me, it won't change anything. But before that, back to just now, let me get to what I'm saying first, right? You keep talking about training and the training doesn't include that and the training doesn't include that. You're talking about the official training, but you're not talking about the training when they get into the station and they meet with the batch and then they realize, oh, after board is police. What? That training.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from.
What? You never hear that?
No, I understand where you're coming from. I'll explain myself.
Organized training. So they do train them in that arrogant way. It may not be official training, it may not be lawful training, but they pick up from what the superiors would tell them, all the nasty ways that they have. The ones at the top have nasty ways just the same way.
Listen, just on a side note, nobody says nastier than a Trini. Like, a Trini, nasty ways.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. And this is why when I'm just talking, it is not made for police officers alone. What this law is that if Nathan and Lyndon is in a spat, and Lyndon is using offensive, annoying language, which incites Nathan to breach peace, that is where the charge could come in. Right? That is where they showing you how the charge comes in, because the intent of Lyndon was to incite him. Now again, if I sit down and I evaluate, I may not be as cool as many people, but if one sits down and watch when Trini cussing out one another, sometimes it's really not the inciting. I just want to let you know all you. It's not about being the inciting, but then it have those who you could see inciting the person to do something. Those are the things that and intending critical. Yes, exactly. That is what you have to prove in court. So most of the times when a magistrate listening to the facts, they listen to hear what the intent is, you know.
And they throw. So many of those annoying languages cases end up just getting thrown out anyway.
Because the intent is not proven.
But the problem is, and I remember I told the police this and they licked me a ticket. I asked them, is the process the punishment? And for many officers, they know that. Like the lady with the camo rag. The lady with the camo rag, I don't think that case is going to reach a place where she would get prosecuted really, but you already end up arrested, put in handcuffs, carried on in the station and da-da-da-da. You already went through that process. And that in and of itself is the punishment enough for many people. I consider, though, someone was asking about who drafted these laws. I find, though, a lot of our laws like those seem to have been drafted with a colonial intent. And that's, again, the problem I have sometimes with how our officers enforce these laws. It seems obvious that the laws are not for a country that is a self-governing country where we see it as we are governing ourselves. No, the laws are for a foreign power that is attempting to keep the country in maximal control. Nobody out after 9, no guns in the general public, no cussing. You can't cuss the police here. You careful with the language. The main aim above everything is keeping the peace.
Before Lyndon says anything, just to check in what they said, Nathan. That is the biggest thing. And when Ronnie said it, when you come out of training, there's that second aspect where you're in a station, in a section, in a wherever you're falling to. There are things you're going to see, and there's a different training, as they say. So what you said has a big part to play in it. Our laws are not conducive to the era we're in. So even though I have customer service training, or I get human behavior training and all these types of training. Remember, these training now is for an era that is not colonial. I'm studying behavior, I'm studying customer service. But then is that colonial lawyer you're operating by? So the thing is, the police in themselves, who doesn't know how to use discretion with wisdom, who doesn't know how to observe and listen to what is being said, and get facts to make a call, he was going to fall on the wayside. Because this is what I heard when I pass on. One time when you tell about it, go on slow to the station. Jeez, go on slow. Not today. Yes, dummy, not today. Not today, dummy. But guess what? In their head, that should still be. You understand me?
Yeah.
In their head, that should. Up to recently, and I'm close to this. Up to recently, officers may be expressing their discomfort, what they don't like. What? When I was in the service back then, that thing happened and I had to go through this and I'm like, yeah, dummy. Yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, people don't understand that there are people who think because they went through it, we have to know
Go through it too.
because you went through it and you survived. No, dummy. But again, remember it's an order. Remember it's you know. So these are some of the things where I would come. I'd say where I would want to stand, not in defense, but to give an idea that police officers, yes, they have the, but there are those of us who really try. Yeah.
Yes, I believe that.
Radiation.
Good night. What's up?
Good night.
See, you're having a great conversation, and you know, I heard Kevin read piece of this legislation. Let me just say, this is just another typical bad case law where we've had persons who went ahead to make laws and still do not understand how we violate. And my question tonight is, when the police in uniform are arresting, is the police could cuss me?
What's that?
Who does custom?
When the police is in uniform and using obscene language, can I arrest the police officer when they're in uniform?
Lyndon, you know the answer to that. I didn't even answer.
Yeah, Lyndon, try now. Lyndon, do try, eh?
Making the law in uniform, and they are creating for me, they're trying for me to be in annoyance to break the law. Can I arrest the police officer and take him to court?
Well, you gonna arrest him. You gonna arrest him and see.
So in other words, assuring that I repeat, this is another classic case of what we call abuse of power many times. And this law was written so badly that it's currently in violation with the United Nations declarations for that same human rights and protection, which constitutionally, if I go to court tomorrow, I can seriously say the court that you all have no basis of saying I can't use obscene language. That's my freedom of expression, and if I choose to tell you, F you, I have the right to do so. It's a constitutionally protected activity.
Not in our constitution, not in the interpretation of our constitution.
You have the freedom to say to know what this law is saying. Your intent is what they're looking at. Is your intent. Well, that is the point. This is the point. You're listening. This is the point. What magistrates look for is the intent. So most, and Nathan said that most of them, when they come to court, is get thrown because the magistrate is looking for the intent. You have the freedom to tell a person who you feel to tell them, but the intent is part of the thing.
And here's the thing, Lyndon. I don't think we should have that. I don't think we should have that annoying language law. I don't. But I also don't think our laws should be based on anything the United Nations says. That whole organization could go wherever they want to go and stay out of people's business.
And I totally believe that as well, Nathan. However, remember, we ain't reached constitutional reform yet. So we're still in the situation whereby, right, Eric Williams went ahead 1 week after elections and said, you know what, we want to be a part of the United Nations. So I'm saying that if you go ahead as a nation to say right now, as we speak, we are under, our laws are written, and in the Constitution says no law should be able to violate that fundamental rights and, you know, where it comes to your human rights. Then, literally, the law that they are talking about, the can't use annoying languages, is still in breach. My concern is, how is that still void? How is that still effective when we have defective laws? And that is the problem. Another bad case law again that just taking taxpayers' money.
So then why doesn't someone mount a challenge against that?
When I say of someone, I mean regular citizens who go into it.
Yeah.
Regular citizens who go into it, I can tell you right now, half of them don't even know their constitutional rights. So, of course, they will go to court, and the court will directly say, yes, you have the right to an attorney, but plenty of them have never read the charge. So, how they going to contest something that they don't even know? You have to be in a position of knowledge shows to know. And it's then when you know, you can affect change. That's all.
Correct. Well, I'm not sure if you can. Would you be able to just mount a challenge without having standing, as if you weren't arrested for it? You can just mount a challenge and it just like that on the law?
Well, I can tell you right now from the very latest report for 2021, the international organization got a report from Trinidad and Tobago, and on that review it says very periodically the government many times have utilized certain laws in order to silence free speech. This is the reason why you see right now the police right now is making themselves look so stupid internationally with the arrest of Christmas list. And this is not the second time. And they realize they ain't getting nothing on demand. So they will try another attempt again. So the question is, if we are saying that for the fundamental rights are enshrined, literally means.
You was arrested recently again?
We can go on.
Yes,
Well, I see him in that video advertising for some gospel concert.
I don't know.
The man was arrested again, took a charge, and they had to let the man go. And these are saying that the law will have to treat Christmas list Rooney. The law will have to change whereby you must be legally declared missing anything after 24 hours and not 48 hours. Because legally when police come and detain you, they detain you for a whole 12 hours and then say, oh, you're not arrested. But if you are detaining me and you are saying, I don't have the freedom of movement, then automatically that is supposed to constitute an arrest. If you have to detain me for the purpose of questioning, then you have the right to have a lawyer present. And most times, you come in one or well, just like Christmas, 12 hours they haven't the year have a right to year this is what the regular citizens have to go through. So if fundamental rights they're not even working properly to protect citizens.
But that deportation thing positive. When I read that article, the way it was framed, at least in the article, it nearly seemed like it was another entrapment attempt, because they have his passport, his court case says he's not supposed to leave, but then they're trying to deport him. What? Why do it?
That's why I said fishy, something fishy.
And you see, when you add that with the firearms dealer business in Barbados, where someone pick up themselves hot and sweaty, jump on a plane and go and get a guy, and I do not believe for a second that was a police mandate. I don't believe any officer was like, this man, I want this. I think the mandate came from somewhere up. And if that's the case, this Christmas list business, you could wonder about it too.
So I'm asking this, right? I'm asking this.
Let me ask a question just now. As a police officer in Trinidad and Tobago, do I have jurisdiction in Barbados?
No, you don't.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying again. Corruption in high places. And that's where it always becomes a problem when we're arresting the gang leader and the people who we have spread in a gold chain. But we're not arrest Christmas list because again, is more.
Who minister have a big gold chain?
Who created the gang leaders? You know that's 10 years, Kevin. They come and they wanted gun amnesty, they get that. They wanted the bail, they get that. Then they come and they say they want to pay the anti-gun registration, they get that. 10 years, but there are all these laws, and I still can't find the people that are recruiting. But a man come from Canada, fly in, start doing certain places where you are gang leaders, and you come to arrest a man. The police is lazy, it's a lazy entity, and I continues to say that. After them need to go home and start send their backside home, right where they want. Yeah.
Right, so I was going to explain, positive, put it down. Interpol, however, has jurisdiction in different, over the globe. I'll put that Interpol, right? So, what Nathan said, which is what sometimes I beg people to look beyond just what is true in front of you. An issue like that cannot just come from within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. I can't just pick up myself, jump on a plane, go Barbados, lock up a man. No. There must be channels of instruction, there must be channels of
diplomatic channels. It must go through diplomatic channels. But Kevin,
this Christmas list thing,
yeah,
it's fishy because there's something more. That is why for me, I don't know what anyone else, for me, I think I like to look and observe, even though things are something very fishy to me, to see what's the outcome. Before I say,
Let me share this with you. That arrest of the man, and we go to the man who they out there cross jurisdiction to arrest, right? I can tell you right now, that man is not on Interpol's wanted list. You have to make Interpol wanted list, which because there's that international entity have realized you are part of our international ring for crime, and then you're making wanted list. That's the
but here's the thing,
it's not just wanted list though.
and it's not just Interpol. If I remember, because I read quite a few articles on that, there are agreements, Caribbean agreements, that could go through diplomatic channels. The issue is the proof of, and it's obvious they went through diplomatic channels because they used a diplomatic plane. But when the Tata hit the fan, whoever was the diplomatic power behind it disappeared. So now,
Say it again.
whoever was the diplomatic power behind it disappeared. So now it looks like the TTPS all on their own hops up and jump on a plane and go over Barbados. But that's obviously not so. And here's something very interesting, Lyndon. Here's something very interesting to add on top, and a cherry to add on top before you go on. The woman, let me just say the gender, the person who was blamed for that entire incident, the officer, was promoted.
right. But here the thing. Again, you can ask extradition, because that's what we're talking about. Extradition between Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go and extradite a man out of Barbados for a purpose. Where is the main proper channels and who does the extraditing? Isn't it that the Bajan police, understanding that there is an order, will have to go and arrest that individual?
That's what happened. That is what happened. And that's why Barbados was angry, because, and that's what I'm saying, there's a diplomat behind this with a lot of power. that evaporated when the Tata hit the fan. Because there's no way a random sergeant in the TTPS calling Barbados Royal Constabulary or whatever their name is and tell them go and arrest a guy in a hotel in a tourist country, go and arrest a big boy in a hotel and make a whole scene and bring him down to the airport.
That has to come from seniors. That don't come from
Obviously. And the Bajans admitted early on, well, this was our mistake. We didn't go through the right channels. Because Barbados was supposed to seek extradition and go through the court to have him extradited. While somebody made a call or a letter or something, and whoever it was had enough power to basically order the Barbados police to go and arrest this man and bring him to the plane where the Trinidad police took him and carried him.
But listen to the heights of everything that we're saying here. In the heights of everything, Nathan, you are saying, no happening. The big boy be calling behind the shot. Board missing. You know what I'm saying? That is a pack of rubbish. If we saying that, and Nathan, you and I know, we are no missing. You know what is the problem? The police ineffectively to go and investigate the matter properly and bring themselves to what we call credible, a measure of credibility to ensure that if the police would have been wrong, you could have moved ahead to arrest and charge for misbehavior in public office. And this is the problem why you can't trust the service, because they can be influenced by big boys from the top.
Well, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point I'm making, and I'm linking it with the Christmas listing. There's obviously, and here's the thing though, Lyndon Mac, that shouldn't even be close to a surprise. We know in Trinidad, we regularly accuse the police of taking bribes from regular blocks. The block here, the block there. How this block functioning? 6 fellas stand up on the corner selling an illegal drug, and they've been doing it for 15 years. There's no way this block is functioning without permission. We know this, bribe passing. We see when the police car come, we see when they meet the fellas. We know this. And if there are officers willing to be paid out by the dregs of criminals, you think there wouldn't be officers willing to be whatever it might be, whatever benefit it might be, from the top of criminals? Of course.
Don't worry, David, let's see, you want to have a meeting with the public. See what's up, everything for you. Wait.
Sorry for sure,
Kevin, are you saying that you don't have confidence in your police?
Complaints authority?
What's that?
Are you saying you don't have confidence in your police complaints authority?
If I am saying I don't have confidence,
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in the system.
Listen, for me,
I don't have confidence in the system.
For me, the Police Complaints Authority cannot make sense, really and truly, if they don't have arresting power. Like,
Explain, maybe.
isn't it the case that if the Police Complaints Authority do an investigation and it looks like something criminal was done, they have to refer it back to the police?
Yes.
Stupidness.
Hence my statement is solidified by I don't trust the system.
That doesn't make sense at all. Like, I understand the dynamics there, because actually in a country, police are a uniquely powerful group, and you don't give police power to any and everybody just all about willy-nilly like that.
Correct.
I understand.
Correct.
But like for me, like you have to think, all right, well then we're looking for the top of every batch and train them for an extra year, and you are a police officer also qualified, but you going to have separate training for another X amount of months, and you going to work exclusively for the Police Complaints Authority from the jump. You never go to a police station, but you're an officer, so you have arresting power. Something like, let's think of something.
Even if I explain or state this, most people won't understand. Yes, they say I'm in the system, but I'm not of the system.
You sound like the Apostle Paul, boy. Yes, brother Kevin. Amen, brother Kevin.
That's why I try to. That's why one of the things I try to do. And most people would see that, and even those who interact with me on a daily basis, it's more about helping people understand what their rights are and the best way to live
And
that aspect. And in me now, trying to educate or show, because I myself still learning to it. I myself still learning because there are times I will ask other officers who I know I can trust to help explain to things, or even lawyers or even magistrates, please interpret this aspect of the law, because again, you don't want to go there and say something and then people take it and run and say, well, I hear a policeman on our live say, you understand, Kevin Suits, and then, you know, people knocking on my door, coming to, no. I think that is why one of the things I want to ensure that when I speak about the law, speak about policing, it is from the perspective of what we can do, what we ought to do, and understand where we are also restricted.
and
So yeah, the guy said something to Lyndon to show him that, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the whole police mustn't prosecute and all that. But our law states that is what we have to do. You understand?
yeah.
And the only places that could change it is really the same politicians, you know, the same politicians who, they are the ones that change it.
And the truth is, the truth is, one good officer in a whole, even if all the rest so bad, one good officer is still better than none. If they like, even if back in the 1940s Germany, most of them were out there hunting and killing, but there were 5 that occasionally tried to save someone. That's better than none. So good police are a good thing, even with the criticisms of all the police.
He is a pastor also, and he's one of the persons that, as most persons would say, hoping that there is a change through him. But it's not something that can be, if you understand me now, it's like a lot of things we would like to see. I've always said, I would have preferred Gibbs to stay. I say that publicly.
I say that all the time too.
Gibbs stay. And a lot of the younger ones who at that time appreciated what he was trying to do. But what happened is that, again, you have an old mindset that believes the police service should be like this and should be like that. And it should be the same colonial thinking. Yeah, he's a typical on here. He's a typical guy.
No, let me ask a question. Because there's some nice
Group of bandits or home invaders were charged under the Anti-Gang Act. I'll have to research that Otis. I'm really not too sure about.
once you can prove that they are a gang
Once they can prove it too.
and it can be charged
Okay,
under
right.
the act.
Okay.
But my thing is, you know, we're talking about one man. And the question is, currently one man, is one man will effectively move to change the power of the entire organization? Or is it that we're going to put the woman in that and try to manage the police? Because you see, in the past, what we have had is police commissioners coming inside to manage the police. And this is always the problem. You have even at that level, you have a management crisis.
Right.
Now, in 2024, I will always say this. There is no possible way you can want to create a better police system, but you're only looking at employing one police commissioner. That is a failed mechanism, and it will always continue to fail. The ratio in Trinidad for one police officer is one police officer to 100 citizens. And that ratio looks fairly good. So what we're saying is, if you are going to change the paradigm of the police service, it must start with the head. Police service commitment must be like to change. You must be able to have the police complaints authority with the level of arresting powers.
and we move ahead to change what is called the advancement of police officers through their arrest record and their conviction rate with the state. Because remember, everything starts with them for persons to come in to,
I think.
Yeah, but again, if you don't work at creating that environment for change, you can go ahead and hire 10 police commissioners, all of them go field, every single one of them.
I think one of the biggest things for me was where Parliament is who choosing the commissioner. I had a big problem with that. Parliament chooses the commissioner.
And this is all I'm saying.
I think when the whole basis of how our system was set up, quote unquote, it was the judiciary, police service, and the legislation, correct? That was the three independent bodies that make up. That's how it is, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Police, judiciary, and legislation, right? Which supposed to act independently of each other. But it's Parliament, judiciary, and police. What does that say? Anyway, I think when the Parliament now comes into choosing a commissioner, that's where the problem was. And I could see when Mr. Gibbs was here, that is the problem government was running into with him.
Right.
That was the biggest problem they have with him. And the thing is, people like that about it. No government official could have called him and tell him they want this, that, or the other. You would tell him point blank, no. You have no jurisdiction here. That is he would tell him point blank, no.
And it's again the problem. When you have again, remember that all the big fuss about the police complaint and police commissioner. Okay? But remember, the police commissioner is supposed to be answering to the police service commission.
Right.
So the police service commission is the entity who is supposed to ensure that everything to do with police officers and their training and how they will advance that at that level to be trickled down to the smallest man. But again, when you have government influence, you want the police commissioner to be on the National Security Council, and the Security Council is chaired by the Prime Minister. That there alone breaks down the Chinese wall to get anything happening in time. So, of course, to strengthen the police, you have to change the rule context. And all these persons who are first division, send them home. If you have one or two sergeants, look for the most prominent ones and inspectors and train them in the army of forming the next umbrella of the Trinidad to be able to do service.
I don't see that happening though. And something with former Commissioner Double G, and even some of the praise he get. Look at the evidence that he, allegedly leaked since. With minister messaging about license for this one, minister messaging about that for this one, minister messaging about that for this one. Now, it betrays something that I think all of us know and shouldn't be happening, but it also shows that I think many of the requests, he okayed it.
Hold on. I'm glad you say it. You know what I'm glad you say it? You know what I'm glad you say it? Which was one of the reasons why, as much as I hear people say, he was the best, he was the thing. You know what I said? You all say he's the best based on optics, what you see. But when you work with an individual and you see them up close, you know what you see? You basically sell yourself out of what you was actually doing, which you denied you wasn't doing.
Actually, right now, that is supposed to give the state now more credible evidence. But here is the problem. They will never do that, because for him to implicate that, you're going to have to do something that this country has never done. The Attorney General now has the power to arrest the Prime Minister. The Attorney General now has the power to arrest Gary Griffith. Gary Griffith literally just out to the whole nation and said he committed a crime literally and misbehavior in public office happened between he and the Prime Minister. So the real question question is, where is the Attorney General office now to prosecute the Prime Minister for misbehavior in public office?
So when people say,
or corruption start at the top.
Yes.
So Linda, when people say all of them are friends, do not be upset because all of them are friends.
I wouldn't even say they're friends. They're beneficiaries of each other. They work to each other's benefit. I don't think many of them like each other, you know, even within the PNM. And you see it easy in politics. They will jump from PNM to UNC and spit in the face of the people they were shaking the hand with last week. That happens. People switch party in this country. They go from saying that party is the devil and join the devil. That has happened before. So I don't put that past them, but it shows something. And that shows the reality of why I liked the Gibbs part of it. Somebody out of the whole system, outside of the whole system. And the Prime Minister, and they could deny it how much they want. I don't think Double G was lying. I think he was right. He implicates himself also, but I think he was right. And I think they have always done it. That's just the way it has always gone. That's why Guy could get locked up in Barbados. That's possibly why Christmas seeing pressure all now. You see, Trini Hotep, what you're saying there and what Lyndon is expecting is how the Westminster system is more supposed to work. So if the Attorney General wasn't a party member, he was just a prominent attorney that was hired by the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister isn't necessarily supposed to be the ruler of the leading party. He is just supposed to be the person who gets the most support from MPs. They don't have to be in the same party to support this one person for Prime Minister. That's how in Britain they change Prime Ministers like clothes like that. MPs support this person, he's Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister chooses a prominent attorney, and he's Attorney General. That's not necessarily supposed to be all in one loyal group where they have a secret handshake and a blood oath with each other. That's not the idea it's supposed to be. But that's what we end up with in our partisan style of politics. So it's impossible to even envision an Attorney General in Trinidad going to try to arrest the Prime Minister.
Of course, and that's why we change that policy that says, as long as you are going to be paid by the public purse, you have to be voted by the national population, then that's the only way you start to fix things. But personally, I am waiting to see the Attorney General move to charge the Prime Minister for misbehavior in public office. I'm waiting for it.
Not gonna happen. You will wait till you turn into a ghost. I ain't seeing that happening. Party politics is damaging this country. It has damaged it for a long time now. And I've said that before. Maybe if you put it to a vote, I know people say, Ronnie said the voters are not informed, but I still think you'll get what I forgot the name of the idea where there's some truth in averages. There's some facts found in averages. So if you are asked to guess the number of marbles in this cup, and one person guesses, the chances they're wrong. If you ask 100 different people to guess, and you average up the 100 guesses, very likely you will get very close to the actual number. There's a kind of wisdom that ekes out over the averages of a crowd. And maybe you could attempt to get some of that in a voted for system. The thing is, I don't see it being much worse than the system we currently have. If all the DCPs, is it DCPs who are the ones right below? If all of them they have their names up there, and it's a ballot when we go to vote every how much ever years, it's included in the ballot who do you vote for commissioner. I think we'd get a better option than what we have now. And Kevin, on the optics, I say this about the optics. Optics is part of being a commissioner. So I give him credit for the optics. The thing is, optics can't be by itself.
Exactly. But I think that is what happened. The optics was really by itself.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If the Minister of National Security says it's not his job to make the country feel safe, well, then that falls on the commissioner. That's optics. What makes people feel safe is optics. So, optics does something. People feeling like if a gangster only show their face online, the police go take them. Gangsters not ruling here. Even if that isn't totally the case, the optics does help. So I think that's still a plus in his column. Optics alone is still a plus.
Yeah.
Because Tanti failing on optics. Failing.
But one of the other things too that is also something that I sit down and I watch. How persons, what are persons, citizens' idea of handling crime in Trinidad and Tobago in the most effective way that would say, hey, they are doing a good job. Because is it Philippines?
Yeah.
When the president really attacked, and when he told the citizens, I gave you a period of time to come in and in yourself. And then I think he gave the citizens power anytime you see them, deal with them dead or alive. And that is Philippines, right?
I'm pretty sure it's Philippines.
Right. And I think
Where they were killing drug dealers.
They drop a drug dealer out of a helicopter or some kind of madness.
Yeah, they were offing them.
Right. My thing is, are those measures Trinidad willing to see here?
I think, and I've said this before, I think the general public will answer you resoundingly yes. Look at police shootings and look at the reactions. How many negative comments you see? Police in Trinidad could do sometimes the most insane fishy shootings, and you still aren't going to get public condemnation for that. I don't think so. Listen, and I'm not, this isn't a suggestion, but the big boys that everybody know and they know their name, if in the morning you see a team rolled in and did what they did, I don't think you're going to get the general population in uproar. You're going to get celebration. Just saying.
Okay.
The thing is, what I don't think is I don't think those in authority will ever make that move because they benefit from the current system. If you look at the Philippines, if you look at El Salvador, the people that did that were people who just came in and they were outsiders, and now that I come in, I make this change. But and for example, PNM, the way how the PNM is crafted and structured, you will never get that from the PNM.
Okay.
They are status quo. The next person to come up here has been in the party for the last 35 years. They've followed how the party does things. And that means they aren't going to change anything drastically.
Why are we scared? Why are we scared to elect someone outside of PNM and UNC? Why are we scared to do that?
Because we have been squeezed into partisan politics where we vote against the party we are most afraid of. So it's not that we're scared to vote for somebody different. We're scared that in attempting to vote for somebody different, the people we really don't want will end up winning. So if I'm a UNC voter and Michaela come up, and I want to give Michaela a try. But if I vote for Michaela, my vote that would have gone to UNC no longer goes to UNC. PNM could come in and steal the win. And then the UNC is going to go out all over the election telling you about splitting the vote. Remember, the election when COP attempted to go alone and they got lots of votes, but there were no seats. The UNC's motto for that election was don't split the vote. The day before the election, they had loudspeakers running all through Central and South. Don't split the vote. Don't split the vote. A vote for the COP is a vote for the PNM and Patrick Manning and his dictatorial. That was the announcement, and that works. That works because if I already kind of PNM going to ruin the country. You know, PNM going to ruin the country. You know? I don't want them to win. Yeah. What?
Why did it work?
It worked because we are a tribal country, and the tribal politics that has been engineered in our country is one way you vote against the other tribe. So, for example, here's an example, just in case someone wants to think it's one side. But to be fair, he got a lot of licks for this. Remember Hilton Sandy and the Calcutta ships?
Yeah, of course.
That's why. That's why. His idea there was to scare them away from them into us. It's not that we are so good, it's that careful that other team come and disrupt what you like. Don't even watch what we doing. Watch the other team.
What I'm saying to you is, if you don't educate persons to know, then there is a measure of control could happen because they don't know better. This is like the Lynching syndrome. If I don't convince you as an African that you are not free, but you have to remain on the system although you're free, you will never believe that you have the right to have freedom because of that psychological programming and for that always happens. So in other words, they could have only get that done, and the UNC could say, I vote for the COPs, I vote for the PNM. Because the people are not educated to know their rights, that the power of your vote is what makes change. You understand?
I understand. But I wouldn't use the word educate because many of those people are very educated, they're very knowledgeable, they understand that. But tribalism taps into human circuitry that goes underneath. It's more primal and basic than our education. It's like libido. If you know what libido is, the drive people have. Those things are innate drives that somebody could be as educated as they like. If you have the right triggers, you trigger it. Tribalism works like that. I get you with the they and us, the they and us, the they and us, the they and us. And remember, they and us, they and us. They're not like us, they and us. Careful, they, us, they, us. Are you going to betray us for them, us, them, us, them, us? And reinforce that. Listen, here's the reality. The vast majority of people marry people within their own cultural group, within their own ethnic group, within their own tribes. So that proves in and of itself the vast majority of people have in-group tribal biases. You look around, most black people have a black wife, most Indo people have an Indian wife, most white people have a white wife, and that's not by coincidence. It's because we have in-group biases. And if someone is able to play on those biases go all the way up in education. The biases aren't limited by education. They go all the way up. And people are able to manipulate the biases. It's not education that will change it. It's ideology, if you will. That's what needs to change. How people view the world in and of itself needs to change. To understand that my tribe, because the reality is you do have a tribe and your tribe is for your benefit, but my tribe could run across ethnic lines. My tribe could be Trini, and that's the tribe I'm primarily at. My tribe, the people who call themselves my tribe, may actually not be very interested in my well-being. That's the reality. All right, people, it's after midnight. Any closing statements there from Kevin and Lyndon before we dive out?
I have no closing statement other than I love my job. I hate what happens in it, but I'm not in the system. I'm in it, but I'm not part of it.
All right, sir. Well, I hope if ever I have to get pulled over, you're there. All right, people, that's all I have for now. I hope you're educated, informed, or entertained. This has been the Mindful Live. I am Nathan Spring. I'll see you guys again for the next one, which will hopefully be tomorrow evening. Until then, people, peace. Laters.